Hey, welcome to the Craft Beer Review. Today I'm going to be trying my homebrewed marzen style Oktoberfest with a twist. Um, Before we get to trying the beer, let's talk about the recipe. For malts, I used 62% Vienna malt, 27% Munich malt, 9% caramel 40, 2% victory malt, and just a touch of chocolate malt for some color. For my hops, I used 0.35 ounces of Magnum for the full 60 minutes of the boil, and then I used 1 ounce of Tettnang with 20 minutes left in the boil to give it a little bit of earthy spiciness, hopefully. Now the twist in this beer comes with the yeast that I used. Instead of using, a typical malt forward traditional Oktoberfest yeast, I decided to go with the same yeast that I used for my Pilsner. And that's the Saflager West European Lager S23. Now, this is a German lager yeast, but it's known to produce more fruity esters. Fruity esters that you wouldn't typically expect to get in a marzen style Oktoberfest. However, what I was thinking when I developed this recipe was, I was thinking, the nice malty flavors, the bready flavors, toasted bread flavors you get with an Oktoberfest with a little bit of strawberry jelly on top. That's really what I was thinking, and that's one of the reasons why I used a little bit of victory malt and a touch of chocolate malt to maybe up those kind of toasted malt flavors just a little bit. So we'll see. I don't know if it's going to work. Hopefully it will. It sounded good. I love toast. I love nice toast with a little bit of strawberry jam on it. So I'm hoping the beer comes out. For the mash, I did mash this at 150 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour and 15 minutes. And fermentation, I fermented this at 52 degrees until my gravity got down to 1.017. And then I increased the temperature to about 65 degrees and let it finish down to 1.011. Now, when I brewed this, I did hit my my target for my original gravity. My original gravity was 1.056, and as I said, my finishing gravity was 1.011, and that comes out to an ABV of about 6% and an attenuation of about 80%. Which is pretty much what I was looking for. Hopefully, hopefully this comes out well. I'm a little anxious. I don't know if the strawberry flavors are going to come through, and if they do come through, how much, and will it taste good? I did use this yeast on a Munich Dunkel like a year ago, and I don't remember getting any of the strawberry flavors. But that being said, the strawberry flavors in my Pilsner were fairly strong and prominent. So given the fact that an Oktoberfest is not quite as malty as a Munich Dunkel, I'm wondering how much of that strawberry character will come through. And like I said, hopefully it'll taste good. Again, my thought with this was toasted bread with strawberry jelly on top. And that sounded good to me, and it still sounds good to me, and hope it works. All right, hold on a second, and I'm going to go get a beer. All right, there it is. Now, I did pour this and let it sit out a little bit while I was talking about the recipe. The reason I do that is because I do like an Oktoberfest that's a little bit warmer than just coming out of the fridge. And given that I have my kegerator set to dispense beer at 38 degrees Fahrenheit. I like an Oktoberfest that's closer to 50 degrees, so I do usually pour it, let it sit a little bit, and warm up a bit. Seems to have a nice head retention. There's still, even though I poured it a little while ago, there's still a decent head on top. Looks like a kind of a creamy head. It's kind of dark beer. It's not that clear. I can see my fingers through it, but just barely. To be honest, I really don't do a whole lot to increase clarity of my beers. It's not something I often worry about. Let's go in for the aroma. Definitely a little bit of Munich malt character in there. Not a lot. Nice malty character. Touch of sweetness. And a little bit of that strawberry aroma. That strawberry aroma is definitely there. It's not strong, but it's there. It is pretty subtle. I wonder if I would notice it if I wasn't looking for it. I think I would. It's pretty distinct. All right. Cheers. Oh, this came out good. Oh, I like this recipe. Give me a minute. I'm enjoying my beer. Now let's see. I did brew this in the middle of August, and it is currently the middle of October. So after fermentation was complete, I did let this lager for 6 or 7 weeks. So I have been patient with this beer, which I'm not always. Sometimes I rush them and I get some flavors that don't. I try and be patient. I think the flavors, give it a little bit of time to age, to let the flavors meld and you get a much better beer, especially with an Oktoberfest. Yeah. I have to say I'm very happy with how it came out. That strawberry is definitely present in the aroma, and that's not my imagination. And that is good. And there's a nice toasted bread taste to this beer, and a very nice and there's a very nice earthy spice hop character as well. And if you've seen any of my reviews on some other beers, you know I like that. I love when you get some of that noble German hop character in an Oktoberfest. I'm not talking about herbal or floral. I like the little bit of spiciness. I don't want floral aromas. I just want a little bit of complexity. That is good. Smooth. Toasted malt finish. Hop spicy finish. It's pretty well balanced too. My total IBUs on this beer was about 21. So it's not. It is relatively hoppy beer, but it's well balanced. I mean, it's an Oktoberfest, starting gravity of 1.056, and I hit my numbers. I hit my target number exactly. I was very happy. That doesn't always happen, but it did with this one. Usually if I'm within, for this one I was shooting for 1.056. If I had gotten 1.054 or 5.8, I would have been happy. That's usually the range I shoot for when I'm brewing. But I was dead on with this one, and I confirmed that using both a hydrometer and, well, a manual hydrometer and a tilt hydrometer in the fermentation, in the fermenter itself. I have to say I do use a tilt to keep track of my fermentation temperature, and I've been a little leery about relying on the gravity it uses, but I've been testing it with my manual hydrometer, and it's been pretty much dead on. There might be a slight discrepancy, but we're talking like if my manual hydrometer, if it gives me like 1.056, I might get 5.5 with my tilt. So it's been very accurate. I've been very happy with the tilt so far. Very happy with this beer. There's one thing I could say. I want to see if it starts to that flavor starts to come out a little bit as I drink this. The one thing I will say is the Munich malt I did use light Munich malt. I did not use, and when I say light Munich malt, like 6 SRM Munich malt, not the traditional Munich malt, which was more around 9 SRM. And the reason I bring that up is because I am getting nice malty character, but the malty character, before I get into the toasted malt flavor, it's definitely a little light on the Munich malt character, in my opinion. The base malt that I used for the bulk of this recipe was Vienna malt, which does provide a nice malty backbone. But I think I might be better off if next time I use a 9 SRM Munich malt instead of the light Munich malt. Although it is a nice malty beer, it's good. Maybe I shouldn't change a thing. It tastes good. The strawberry is coming through on the flavor, not overpowering though, and it does not overpower. What I was worried about was that the strawberry flavor would supersede the malt character, and it doesn't. It finishes with the strawberry flavor, which is what I was going for. So you get that typical marzen style Oktoberfest flavor throughout, and then it finishes with a little bit of strawberry after the hop spiciness, or along with the hop spiciness, and it tastes good. It tastes really good, actually. Yeah, I am very pleased with this one. I'm very pleased. I don't know how many times I can say that. I'm just very happy that this beer worked out. I've actually been a little worried about it. I'm like, oh no, am I going to use that strawberry yeast? What's going to happen? Am I going to end up with a disappointing Oktoberfest? I can't do that. But it's really good. Like I said, the one fault I would say is bump up of the Munich malt character. Maybe whether it's with a slightly darker Munich malt, or maybe decrease the Vienna malt a little bit and replace it with a little bit more Munich malt. That could be another solution. Because let's see, I made a 5-gallon batch, and I mentioned the percentages earlier, but really what it boiled down to is I used 7 pounds of Vienna malt, 3 pounds of light Munich malt, 1 pound of caramel 40, 4 ounces of victory malt, and 1 ounce of chocolate malt. And I had a brewhouse efficiency of 73%. And again, I did add in, instead of just limiting it to normally I would just limit this to the Vienna, Munich, and caramel malt. But because I was using the strawberry yeast, I put in the victory malt and the chocolate malt, hoping it might just subtly, without adding too strong flavors, subtly bumping up the biscuity toasted malt character. And I feel like it did do that without going too far. should just leave it as is. It's good beer. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about it. Anyway, next up on my home brewing schedule, I will be trying my homebrewed pumpkin ale. Cheers.